In Malawi, no meal feels complete without it. This is Nsima, a dish built on maize, patience, and the strength of a stirring arm. Nsima sits at the center of Malawian food culture, built around maize that is grown, stored, milled, and cooked, using knowledge refined over generations. It is rarely just a side dish. In most homes, it is the meal itself, served alongside whatever relish is available that day. The people behind the dish. Learning to make good Nsima is a physical apprenticeship as much as a culinary one. Children grow up standing near the pot, given the spoon, told to stir harder, corrected until they understand the texture by feel rather than by instruction. Why UNESCO recognized it? In 2017, UNESCO inscribed UNESCO as the culinary tradition of Malawi, describing it as both a single dish and a much wider tradition encompassing the growing, storing, processing, and communal eating of maize. UNESCO specifically noted that communities safeguard this tradition through continued everyday practice, festivals, and revitalization activities, with knowledge transmitted both informally at home and through structured education. Maize meal is energy-dense, providing a good source of B vitamins, particularly niacin, along with iron when fortified. It is naturally gluten-free, though on its own it is relatively low in protein and certain amino acids, which is precisely why Nsima is traditionally never eaten alone. The vegetable, fish, or meat relish served alongside it supplies the protein, fiber, and micronutrients that maize meal cannot provide by itself, making the pairing nutritionally, not just culturally, important. Getting the ingredients. In the UK, white maize meal is sold under various brand names in African and international food shops across the UK, often imported from Southern and East African producers. It is important not to confuse this fine white maize meal with corn flour, which is a different, highly refined starch used for thickening sauces rather than for making a stiff porridge. A tradition under pressure. Malawi's maize harvest has become dangerously exposed to climate shocks. A severe El Niño-driven drought in 2024 sharply reduced the national maize crop, contributing to a national food emergency and leaving millions of people facing food insecurity. Scientists project that rising temperatures could reduce maize yields further over coming decades, even as rainfall patterns become more erratic and unpredictable. Safeguarding it for the future. In response, Malawian agricultural researchers and the government's National Adaptation Plan are promoting drought-resistant maize varieties, improved irrigation, and soil fertility programs to build resilience into the harvest. For the culinary tradition itself, safeguarding rests on continued transmission, older generations passing the stirring technique, the judgment of texture, and the communal eating customs to children, both in Malawi and within diaspora households where Nsima is still made by hand rather than bought ready-made. Why it matters to the UK. African diaspora. For Malawian and wider Southern and East African families in the UK, Nsima is treated as proper food in a way few convenience meals are. Research into how diaspora communities in England think about diet has consistently found that home-cooked meals made from raw, unprocessed staples, exactly what stirring maize meal into Nsima involves, are regarded as the gold standard for health, set against a marked distrust of the UK's packaged and ready-made food culture. Stirring the pot yourself, rather than buying something pre-made, is as much a statement about trusting your own ingredients as it is about taste or tradition. That instinct, alongside the comfort of a deeply familiar dish, is a large part of why Nsima continues to anchor Malawian households in Britain. Celebrations, gifts, and staying connected to home. Nsima also carries weight at Malawian community gatherings in the UK, served at church functions, family celebrations, and cultural events, where it remains the centerpiece around which everything else, the relish, the company, the conversation, is arranged. Cooking a large pot of Nsima for visitors, or making sure a guest leaves having eaten properly, functions as an expression of welcome and respect within the community. Maize meal and other staples are also commonly included in food parcels, sent between family members in the UK and Malawi, a well-documented practice among diaspora communities more broadly, where sending familiar ingredients home or receiving them from relatives serves as a tangible reminder of ongoing family ties across the distance. Lived experience reflection. Many who grew up eating Nsima describe learning to cook it less through instruction than through correction, being handed the spoon, told to stir harder, and gradually learning to feel the right texture for themselves. As one community voice might put it, "I prepare this food because I know this food. It is part of our family's diet and history." When I stir Nsima, I remember how I learned it at home, by watching, helping, and being corrected until I understood the texture. That early, physical memory of the pot is often described as one of the clearest threads connecting adults in the UK back to childhood kitchens in Malawi, a memory carried in the arm as much as in the mind. What the dish means. Because Nsima appears at almost every meal, its heritage value comes from repetition rather than ceremony. It represents the idea that the most ordinary, everyday food can carry the deepest cultural roots. Carried into the present, Malawian families in the UK continue to make Nsima using maize meal sourced from African food shops, teaching their children the same stirring technique, the same corrections, the same patience that has defined this dish for generations. Nsima proves that heritage is not only found in celebration, sometimes it is found standing over a pot, stirring again and again until it is right, and in making sure the harvest behind it survives.